Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mondays at Microsoft. Even when I'm tired, that music, it just kind of gets me going. I think that's why they picked it. We're here to break down the next 2 weeks of everything that's going on in the Microsoft world, including AI and collaboration, Power Platform dynamics, and so much more. I'm Karuana Gatimu. I'm the director of the Customer Advocacy Group, and I'm joined by my fantastic friend.
Hello. Good morning, Karuana. It's
How are we
Heather
doing?
Cook. Hi. Happy November. What?
Oh my good. I can't even. I can't cope. I
Can't
can't
cope
cope.
either. Yes. Oh, and I am a principal community evangelist for our customer advocacy group. Happy to be here with all of you today on a very actually crisp morning in California as well. So, yeah.
It's even crisp here in Arizona. Well,
Yeah.
not by the rest of the country's
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. 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 Everybody's like, stop you too. Enough. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got so much going on. It's the past 2 weeks and coming into it. So we're going to recap where you were at the Microsoft Power Platform Week in Las Vegas. And we're going to check out the Microsoft earnings report from Satya Nadella and the AI diffusion report shared by Brad Smith.
We'll also be looking at what's new in Microsoft 365 Copilot, including the new researcher agent with computer use. Stick around for the next 30 minutes. You're not going to miss all the exciting news we have to share. Wherever you're watching, please do all the things. Hit all the buttons, like, share, and subscribe. And a thank you to our sponsor, Sure, who always makes us sound fantastic.
Yes, they do. Also, we are planning future episodes always, and for our next season coming up in 2026. So we would love your feedback. We'd love to hear your favorite segments, how you watch the show, where you watch the show, and any suggestions to shape what we're doing. So if you'd visit the link below, give us some feedback and click that survey, that would be amazing. So I think that brings us into the Big Rock segment with Caruana.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Well, we're starting today's episode again with a question of the day. If you're watching live today on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, we invite you to listen to these 3 stories and then answer the question in the chat, especially on LinkedIn, and tell us if you could build an agent to do anything. I mean, anything, what would that agent do? And that's going to tie to another story we have a little later in the show. But make sure you let us know. What do you want your agents to do out there? For sure. We're going to come back and talk about that towards the end. And now let's talk about one of our big rocks. Of course, Microsoft's earning report was out with highlights from our CEO. As many of you know, the same day of the earnings report was a large outage. That's never ideal. Have to acknowledge that to stay in reality. We don't want to gaslight you. But Satya did share a few big highlights from the past quarter. You can read the full report for more. But our family of Copilot and agents now serves over 150 million active users. Wow, that is huge. That is so fast. And it's all across major domains. In information work, 90% of the Fortune 500 are using Microsoft 365 Copilot. In coding, GitHub Copilot has grown to more than 26 million users. Security, we have 36 agents integrated across Entra, Defender, and Purview and Intune. Agents are very good in the security space. They really help you expand your security team and make sure you're protecting yourself from those threats and bad actors out there. And in science and health, Copilot helped document 17 million patient encounters. That means those doctors and nurses were able to spend more time with patients instead of doing that documentation. That's a huge step forward. That's a 5 times increase year over year. On consumer, new features like groups in Miko and Hey Copilot in Windows are here. So we also signed a new agreement with OpenAI, and that's a major milestone in our partnership. Everybody knows we have a partnership with them. Partnerships are about trust and flexibility and clear communication, and hence the new deal. And it's going to deliver, our existing relationship has already delivered 10 times its value to our shareholders. So that's a good thing. What I think is really important about this is how we're really focusing on the actual use cases and the return on investment of the people who are using AI. And speaking of the future, Heather's going to take us inside Microsoft's AI diffusion report. I saw this over the weekend, Heather. I thought this was so cool. Help me understand what I'm supposed to know about this, because I knew we were shooting and I didn't have time to read the article. I need to.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's super cool. It's, in our end user adoption presentations, we often talk about the law of the diffusion of, bringing out software, right? So there's that curve of like the early adopters, the laggards, and all of that stuff, and it kind of goes whoop like that. So this is building on that, the diffusion of innovation of how things roll out to humans in the world. And so this report goes into that specifically around AI. And it's really, really interesting. And it's a great talking point, I think, as you are, an IT admin or someone who's doing change management, you're bringing Copilot into your world. This is a great report to bring to, say, your business leaders, I think. So I think it's going to be super cool. So yeah, Brad Smith brought this out, and he shared this a LinkedIn post about it. And it's really looking at like where the world stands today and how we expand access and we build our skills and we make AI work, for every language and community. And that classic law I was talking about, it shows how ideas spread through innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and then the laggards, and then takes it and shows it how it applies to the global AI economy. So it's highlighting three forces. This is it's kind of a new piece of the theory is that you've got frontier builders, the pioneers who are pushing what's possible. And these drive every major technology shift. And then you have your infrastructure builders, right? With the engineers and entrepreneurs who are really sailing through those breakthroughs and really pushing the envelope, the ice chippers at the front. And then the users, all of us, people applying AI to solve real world problems. And history really shows progress happens when all of these three evolve closer together at the same time. So I think, power grids and people really made electricity universal from that first light bulb, right? So that same thing holds true for AI. So definitely check out that report. It's super, super cool. And there's all kinds of things coming up too, like not only this AI diffusion, but the quantum leap that we're starting to talk about. And Caroline, I know you have thoughts about that segment as well that are super cool. There's just so much going on in like looking at like that big picture.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives us an idea of what trends are coming next. Anybody who
Mhm.
thinks that this is just a trend, I
Yeah.
need you to remember back to the rise of the cloud. People said that then, and this has gone much faster and has diffused much faster as well. And
Mhm.
everything you were saying, Donna Sakar taught me something at Power Platform Conference last week
Mm.
about the forward deployed engineer. Now, I may
Mhm.
not be a fan of whoever made up that name because forward deployed people are usually in the military and it's usually very dangerous. And so
Yeah.
I don't think I feel good about that being an engineering role. However, they are the ice chippers, the tips of the spear, the people who
Yep.
are out there actually making these things happen, right? And we got to see a bunch of those people who will potentially be forward deployed engineers at the conference, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we'll talk about this quantum stuff, which I do follow this very closely because I think that this is another frontier that is going to transform so much across healthcare and so many other science and exploration work that needs to be done on the planet. The future is now, right? And this week we're going to dive into this mind bending world of quantum computing. I know it seems a little bit out there, but trust me, this is important for the future of this technology and how we all solve problems. And Microsoft is leading the charge. There was the inaugural issue of the new print and digital magazine from Microsoft, Signal. If you haven't seen that, go check it out and look it up. It's a fantastic opportunity to kind of dive deeper into some of the stories that we share here. And at the heart of all of this quantum powered future is the development of the topological qubit. And it's a revolutionary approach that promises to be more stable, which is important, and scalable than anything we've seen before. Now, unlike traditional qubits, they're notoriously fragile. Topological qubits are designed to be more robust when environmental noise. That makes it a game changer for real world applications. This isn't just theory, right? This isn't what we're just talking about something that doesn't exist in the regular world. Microsoft's already built quantum classical hybrid supercomputer. And it's a system that combines the strength of quantum and classical computing to solve problems that were previously out of reach, especially for scale and depth. Think about drug discovery, climate modeling, material science, and this is accelerated by quantum power. And here's the kicker. Microsoft's making this technology accessible through Azure Quantum Elements. So that's a platform that allows scientists and developers to tap into those quantum capabilities today, because today is when we need the answer to so many of these problems. And so this is a moment to really watch, like as quantum becomes more and more accessible to people, which we're really pushing forward. We're actually building this future that we're talking about, and the scale of that is really fantastic. I couldn't be more excited about this. And I know that that's something that eventually is going to be in the hands of builders and makers and forward deployed engineers everywhere around the world. And that is when true creativity is going to happen. So that's all about quantum computing today, for sure. So now let's turn to something fantastic and celebrate those makers and the innovation that was happening last week in Las Vegas at the Power Platform Community Conference. The Power Platform Community Conference is a fantastic energy. I love all community conferences. They're all special and wonderful, all my children, but I don't have favorites. But I did have a wonderful time when I got to go there, because PPCC 25 is really a celebration of innovation and creativity and people who like to get hands on keyboard and build things coming together to learn and build their skills. They had fantastic keynotes. They have citizen creators there and examples of people using Power Platform and Copilot Studio to build smarter and faster, more resilient solutions. Charles Lamanna, Ryan Roslansky, Kim Menace, they all highlighted how AI and agents are transforming the maker experience. And let me tell you, if you've ever put your hand on a keyboard to build a workflow, to build a SharePoint site, to build an agent, to build something in Power Automate, you're a maker. We're all makers, right? And so these new tools like App Builder and Workflow Agent were introduced, and they enable people to create apps and automate tasks with much greater ease. And no code's required, folks. This is low-code development at its finest. And so they also had real-world demos from companies like State Farm and Global Telecoms, illustrating how Power Platform is driving innovation. And I have to tell you, I get to spend almost the whole show in the community lounge, which was vibrant. They had Ask a Pro. They had a huge service that you could take your picture on, awesome swag. But what was really wonderful there was all the different community leaders. And you could plug into the specific group of leaders that you might be interested in. Of course, there were cool stickers. And people were really getting their questions answered and sharing their own experiences wherever they happen to be on the journey. So if you haven't cracked open Copilot Studio Lite or Copilot Studio yet, now's the time to get busy because this is really going to be the heartbeat of a good deal of what us low-code makers like to do. And we have today a very special guest live from the show. Can't believe she's joining us on a Monday after she was so unbelievably busy at the Power Platform Conference. We have with us the very famous April Dunham. And I'd like to bring her and Heather back to the screen so we can have a chat about some of the awesome things that were happening there.
Yahoo!
Hey, there she is. Hey, April.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Hi, you bet.
Well, we're lucky to have you the Monday after a show. I was like, I wonder if she's really going to do that. And you're a trooper, a true community leader. Did you enjoy yourself at the Power Platform Conference? What was most interesting for you in terms of everything that was announced?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I loved it. I always have a great time. This is my 4th year at the conference. I think just seeing the evolution of the products and how much AI is now, weaved into everything that we're doing as developers in the Power Platform, and some of the stuff that Ryan Cunningham showed with the generative pages and being able to just create an app, like fully functioning app that has React code that we can then edit as makers. I think that was really cool. And of course, all of the Copilot Studio stuff and starting to see that in, inside of Microsoft 365 with the ability to build apps and workflows and all that. So no shortage of great announcements that had me inspired and ready to start building and trying some of these new things out.
Absolutely. Well, inspiration is the key word, because that's certainly what all of you delivered at the Women in Power lunch. So let me tell everybody, wow. Women in Power is I think of it like a sister group to Women of Microsoft 365. Fantastic group of women and their allies. There were so many men at the luncheon who are really coming together to help people build skills and find mentors and do amazing work. And Kendra Springer and April and two other amazing women were on the panel. And I love the breadth of wisdom that you were all sharing. It was fantastic. But they don't just do panels at events. You can connect with them on LinkedIn, and you can find their link here. You can also find them on our Microsoft community page. I posted some pictures from the luncheon this morning on the Microsoft community page. But I sat there and I was listening to all of you, which was so lovely. Share your career advice. What would you pick one of those pieces of career advice that you might want to tell our audience, right? In this era of AI, I think people feel overwhelmed by all the change. How do you recommend they navigate that? What would you tell someone now?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, loved the panel. I felt like I was on a talk show there with the set. You'll see the pictures that Karuana reshared there. I think, there's so much great advice shared in that panel, but I think when it comes to talking about AI and that overwhelming feeling, first, just acknowledge that that is normal. And I think one of the things that makes it a little overwhelming is that it oftentimes feels like it's a bit magical, right? Of what it can do. We can literally put in a prompt and have a fully functioning app built there. And that magic kind of makes it feel like, well, how can we touch that? How can we know what's actually going on behind the scenes and where do we fit in? But I think if we peel back the layers there, we realize it's not necessarily magic, right? It's a tool built by humans to help us with our jobs and to be able to be more productive. So the biggest piece of advice that I like to give people is think of it, take a step back and just think, how can I use this in my day to day and for things that I'm already doing that I can control? So, just pick one simple thing that you're doing today that you think maybe one of these AI tools that we have can help with. Start small. That might be just helping you with, your monthly perspectives, or maybe help with your annual connects like we have here at Microsoft for performance reports and pulling in data from multiple places. It can be something really simple. Start there and iterate and just explore and see all the different tools that we have available and which one's going to help you the most with your job. So it doesn't have to, be a jack of all trades, a Jill of all trades. You can pick one thing, start there and learn more and keep going and iterating. And it's not magic. It's just something that is there to help you be more productive so that you can kind of automate the boring things and focus on those creative and strategic things that you need to do in your job.
That is so well said. Absolutely. Get started, right? Put your hands on the keyboard. That's how you're going to get to that aha moment where you really understand the power and you start to build that daily habit. Heather and I talk about this all the time. I have to give Heather credit. She's probably the person on my team who pushed the furthest, fastest with building a new daily habit with AI. And I felt like, well, I have to keep up with her, right? Like I better make the pivot. Heather's already made the pivot. I better do it too. And so I was using it last night to write out this project plan and rebrand this thing that we needed to brand. And it mocked up the images and it did the whole thing. And I could interact with it like if I was talking to her, actually. Sometimes I pretend my AI is Heather. And then I could it's really helpful to me if I do that. I know you're not supposed to make the people, but
yeah. Similar. Yeah, I did a similar thing. Did you see, we're going to talk about agents later, but did you see my Mondays at Microsoft agent that I built?
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's also something we'll have coming, and I know you will too, April, is we got footage of the hackathon that was there at the show. More than 1,000 people in the room, all building agents together. The energy that was magical, having everyone together.
Yeah.
We got to interview Donna and Smear. We got to interview everyone, and just the whole vibe of that. I felt really privileged to be in that room with everyone. Because I don't think I'd been to MPPC since the first one. I was at the first one. Maybe I was at the second.
Yeah, I think you're at the second one too, but yeah.
Okay, first and second, but I wasn't there last year. I know for sure. And so coming back, right, and was like, wow, I just got hit with that wall of energy. So
yeah, and that has evolved. The PowerCat team, Samir, and that whole team is just so awesome. And that, what was it? It was the whole thing about power and talent. We've got talent, we've got power. It started there, and it's really evolved, over this huge hackathon. And there was a contest too, right? The whole thing behind it. So that was really
yes, there were awards for agents.
Yeah.
We had
So
like co-pilot swagger. We had like a little red carpet where people can,
nice.
best
You
dress. We
should see
had,
the costumes.
Awesome.
You just
yeah,
have
Yeah.
to
lots
wait
of,
for our video to see those costumes. It's probably already out, but from Jonathan.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and I want to know, April, where are you going to be? What's your next role? I know you travel like we do. So, what's your
uh,
schedule for the
yeah,
coming up?
Ignite, so that's
Yeah.
next. So I have 2 week break, and then we're at San Francisco for Ignite. So that's the next big
Yep.
one on my agenda. Yeah.
Yep.
it
Same.
feels
Same.
it's only 2 weeks. It feels like it's like tomorrow. Sorry, that's just me. Not enough sleep over here.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I think. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, congratulations to everybody. Power Platform Conference, close to my heart, close to all of us. And, like community is community, right? And so it's just so cool to see, also so many people who, were originally SharePoint MVPs and who are Biz Apps and Power Platform. And there's just so much crossover. And it's just, it's such great growth over the last 4 years of this show and just of the community in general. And it's just a big congratulations to everybody, because we know how hard it is to pull off these events, and because we all work on them. And it's just a shout out to everybody on the backside who,
Absolutely.
clicks all the buttons and types all the things. So
Absolutely. The people who
yeah.
aren't in the spotlight are the ones who actually make that all happen. And Heather, I know you all about that. Know all about that. You were the executive producer of the first Power Platform.
Yeah.
So you know how that was
I know how
created.
much. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining us right after this show, April. We're going to have you back and have you talk more about these agents. We really want people to understand how simple they are to start with and how powerful they can be. And you are definitely the person to help us understand that. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
so much.
April. Yeah, absolutely. And follow her, y'all.
Yes.
Your YouTube is amazing. Do you have a show? What's going on with you right now with that? What are you doing? Like typical show?
Well, we have Agent Academy right now, so we have tons of videos right there for like how to get started with Copilot Studio and agents. And I'm actually going to be doing a full Power Platform conference recap live stream Thursday too. So if you want all the details of everything covered, definitely check that out.
We're going to put that as a link for our audience so everybody can get directly to that 100%. So we'll make sure the team has that so everybody knows, because you'll have a deeper insights and more time, and that'll be wonderful.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, April. It's always a pleasure. So
thank you.
Awesome. Right on. Yay. That's like so good. That's just such good energy. April's amazing. Yeah, you got to follow her. She's brilliant. I know you all know this, but if you have not, you're like, who is that? You've got to follow her. She's
100%
amazing. Yeah. So
we're
good.
going to follow each other a little over the rainbow here in a couple of weeks, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, completely. I know. Yeah. Heading into Ignite. And yeah, I think we have a meeting about that this week. We have a bunch of MVPs. I think we have a meeting about that. Hi, there's like 5. But anyway,
that's why I was laughing. I'm like, a meeting? Really?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, well, invited we have a couple handfuls of MVPs that are going to be coming from our Microsoft 365 award category, who are coming, and they're going to be in our theaters, in the community, and at the connection pods, and they're doing all kinds of expert meetup, support and everything. So excited to like say hello to everybody who's going to be working with us on that. And then, and Jonathan Jones, who's on our team, who was with Karuana at Power Platform Conference, he's come in, we'll be there. Brian Wolford's there from our team, and tons of folks from, our product team speaking. Adam Harmitz, our skip level he'll be there speaking as well about SharePoint and all the knowledge agents. And it's going to be super awesome. So if you haven't registered, y'all, it is in person in San Francisco, but it's also virtual online, and it's free to sign up. And you're going to want to watch the keynotes. There's always tons of announcements. There's always big things happening. So you're going to want to check that out. It's going to be great. And so, make sure you bookmark that, get registered, and then go looking for, for what you want to do that week. And then also what you want to see on demand later. It's going to be fantastic. So very excited too that you can search by community this year in the session catalog. So if you're looking for really mostly on-site, because a lot of that is mostly all in person, but you can check that out and go figure out what pods you might want to come to. Pods are like round tables where you have chit chats with people, and then there's theater sessions and all kinds of interactive stuff as well. So it's going to be awesome. And that takes us into our product segment. And we've got some really cool stuff on, I don't know if it's my favorite agent, but it's up there, researcher. And I know, Karuana, you're going to talk about that.
Yes.
God, I
I
like that
love
one.
researcher. Researcher is one of those things that because I'm an information worker and I deal with information, I use researcher a lot to answer questions, to make sure that I understand deeply things that are happening in my industry, and we're taking the next big step. Right, we've introduced researcher with computer use in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and what that means is with computer use, it can securely browse the open and gated web to find hard to locate information, even across hundreds of sites. It can handle multi-step processes to help you uncover insights and take action and create richer reports. Now it can act on your behalf and using a secure virtual computer to navigate the public gated and interactive web content. This is a really big deal. The powerful extension of Researcher, combined with its unique ability to connect to your work data in Microsoft 365 Graph, unlocks smarter research that is specifically relevant to the prompt that you've given, basically the question you've asked it. So Researcher is one of those things that, think of something you want to know more deeply and ask it. Ask it to go and find that information. It's like my own personal teacher, and it answers so many deep questions about things that I have to care about for work. But let's check out this new video about these new capabilities.
Introducing Researcher with computer use in Microsoft 365 Copilot. Start by connecting Researcher to your business data, giving it access to work-related sources like emails, meetings, and chats without having to manually upload files. Then enter a prompt aligned to your research goals. Researcher gets started intelligently reasoning over the web and your work data, so its responses are tailored to your unique business needs. Using a secure virtual computer, it can access and research the web, clicking, scrolling, and navigating public, gated, and interactive websites while you stay in control and your enterprise data stays protected. When login details or confirmation are needed, Researcher invites you to take control of the interface through a secure screen sharing connection. After you're done, Researcher continues its work by leveraging tools such as a visual browser to navigate authenticated or interactive websites, a text browser to quickly read and analyze content, and a terminal for advanced code generation. In minutes, you can unlock deeper insights and generate more comprehensive reports securely informed by your work data and the web. Try Researcher with computer use today and unlock new research scenarios with Copilot.
That was fantastic. So we're almost at time, but we can't leave you without telling you some of the new things in Microsoft 365 that were in October. And these are about the Copilot control system. We want to make sure that you're looking at what's new and that you have the Microsoft 365 roadmap bookmarked. It is actually very valuable if you go and check it, that you're going to want to understand how you can quickly find CCS or Copilot control system new features in the roadmap. There are new reports and management tools in the admin center and their teams views in Copilot dashboard. All of these tools in the Copilot control system help you manage, administer, and understand how people are really using Copilot in your organization. So make sure you go and check that out. You can also bookmark the M365 Copilot blog, which is where we blog about these new features. I know many of you are used to following those types of blogs from us. So make sure that you're following that for Copilot, because every month there's something new coming out, and it's important, or will be, to your organization. Fantastic. Heather, do you want to come back and whiz through this for folks? Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, no, all of those blogs, y'all, are great. And the team's doing a great job with the roadmap and the blog and all of that. What's new every month. So definitely bookmark those if you don't have them. We talked a lot about Power Platform Conference, and there's another great blog by Charles Lamanna, president of Business and Industry Copilot, that rocks through all of the features and functionality that they announced. So definitely check that blog out as well. I think we have a link to that. Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be great. And that leads me into our, more community event segment, right? So shout out to TechCon Dallas, which is happening this week. So many amazing community speakers, David Wilhelm and Sharon and Ashley and team. They just put on amazing and wonderful events. That's in Dallas. So shout out to everybody there. Have a great week. Also, Collab Days Greece. first one on November 8th. So a shout out to everybody over there in Greece who are putting on their first community collab days. It is a virtual event. So Chris Spagniogakis is an MTC and MVP and putting on that show. So shout out to everybody over there. And then we have our typical what happened for the last 2 weeks, which was a ton of past events all over the place. It was Greenville and Philippines, Sri Lanka, Portugal. My goodness, Kuala Lumpur, terrific, wonderful Paris, all kinds of events that did happen in the last 2 weeks here in October. And then we got a ton of stuff coming up. As you can see, there's hybrid events, Vancouver, Minnesota, Tunisia, just tons of stuff happening. The Viva Engage Festival is 3 big days in the different regions as well. And then there's a couple of really great watch parties that are happening for Ignite around that in New York City and Washington, D.C. Those are terrific events as well. So just, y'all, communitydays.org. There's so many events being listed. We are in the height of event season, as you probably know and feel. We've got Ignite. A bunch of us are going to ESPC in Dublin in December. So just tons of stuff going on. And a shout out to Community Days, Collab Days Oslo, because I'm going to keynote that one. I'm super excited to go there for the first time. So and we've got all of our typical links where you can find us for Mondays at Microsoft and the tech community as well. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, we got to get to this question. What would you build? The agent. We got to do that in like 1 minute, Karuana. What do you think? Let's look at some chat. What do we get here?
I've been looking at the chat and waving to folks that I met at MPPC that are watching the show. Hey, Danielle, founder of Women in Power. She's out there in the audience. Amazing, amazing human. You have to follow that group. So I love these ideas, Heather. I'm a fan of this one from Elaine. Event manage our holiday party next month.
Ooh.
Of course, because you can say, put together a schedule for the holiday party and what do you need to do? And it'll just spit that out for you. Oh my goodness. I love it. The next one is from Rachel. My ideal agent would remind me where I filed everything so neatly and cleverly that I've now forgotten. Yeah, can you please share that? You put that in the agent marketplace when you're done, because I need that one.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Oh, I love it. Yes.
Fantastic, Danielle. Do you see hers, Heather?
No, I gotta scroll back.
Okay. No, she says, create all my decks and send me follow-ups. And she's already doing some of that now. So again, you see these community ladies, they are so on it. They're just because they're hyper organized, empowered women. They just use these tools to supercharge their creativity. And I'm just trying to keep up. Let me tell you. Yeah. Inspiration, you too.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like the agent for Mondays at Microsoft, putting it, because you can put in a number of prompts, right? And so I was thinking about, I did a prompt for Big Rocks. I did a prompt for In Case You Missed It. I did a prompt for, the different ones. And then I did a prompt for Create the Social Media as well. So, so it's also about tweaking your prompts, right? That's the other thing. It's like you gotta put it in there and you're like, okay, I want it to do this. No, I want it to do this a little bit. And I want to do that a little bit. And that's the fun of like getting that agent to that sweet spot where it's really giving you what you want. And then it's easy to like take that stuff and put it somewhere else where it goes,
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, the next episode of Mondays at Microsoft, Heather and I are going to come to you live from San Francisco during Ignite Week. That is going to be very exciting. I don't know if we're coming from the show floor or hotel room yet. I don't know where, but I know we'll be in San Francisco. And we will
Golden Gate Bridge.
You don't, I know, right? We will run that everything you don't want to miss. So make sure you are following and sharing and doing all the things and sharing this with your colleagues. We really appreciate all of you out there. Thanks to our MGCI members who are helping out in the chat. Also, we always appreciate you. And for April for joining us again. And PPC for being so lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody have a great week.
Have a great week. See you all very soon. Bye.